Y'all remember Tom Cruise making the interview rounds in the mid-2000s, jumping on Oprah's couch, and then having this really tense exchange in regards to, what was it, Brooke Shields? And earlier she came out with postpartum depression and how she was taking a handful of pills, and then, Big Tom came out, big in a metaphorical sense, I suppose, came out and, well, he was very, very negative on SSRIs and antidepressants, whole stop, mostly because, you could just chalk that up to his crazy Scientology beliefs. But now here we are 20 years on. I cannot believe it, but we are definitely here. I can confirm. Guess who ends up coming out the other side looking like a prophet? Tom Cruise's ominous 2005 warnings about Big Pharma reemerges as CDC drops antidepressant bombshell. Oh no! It's been nearly 20 years since Tom Cruise's infamous outburst on The Today Show, where he passionately railed against antidepressants and called psychiatry a pseudoscience. Oh, and because we're over on Rumble, I wholeheartedly agree. I think that's a take that might end up running afoul of TOS over on YouTube, but yeah, no. I think antidepressants are a scam that don't have an end point. They just keep on upping the doses and costing people more out of their wallets, creating lifelong customers, and then, psychiatry is just a bunch of, pseudo-babble parroted off of a major simp who just wanted to fuck all of his clients. Freud looking directly at you, and the rest of the stuff, all of your diagnostic methods are just made by a bunch of blue-pilled beta males. Pathetic industry that doesn't help anybody. It just allows bitches to air their grievances and then ends up getting guys buying suitably short lengths of rope. At the time, the rant was widely mocked, and Cruise was dismissed as a Hollywood eccentric for spouting as controversial views. But now, with a record number of young Americans being diagnosed with depression and prescriptions for antidepressants soaring among teens and 20-somethings, Cruise's tirade is being viewed in a new light. Yes, today, new CDC data showed that nearly 18% of Americans had depression in 2023, an all-time high. In 2005, when Cruise's controversial interview aired, that figure was about 5.4%. At the same time, the agency revealed that 11% of Americans were taking antidepressants in 2023. Shit. Now, while that figure has dropped slightly in recent years, the top-line figure hides the dramatic surge among younger adults. Antidepressant use among 18 to 24-year-olds has jumped 35%. Wow, from 2018 to 2023. Cruise, a longtime critic of what he views as overprescription of psychiatric drugs, particularly to young people, warned in that 2005 interview about the influence of Big Pharma and the quick fix mentality he believed was being sold to vulnerable youth. Now, I've always liked Tom Cruise. Thought he was great. Back in the cut, I didn't hear about this rant until a couple of people, I think like Jack Posobiec was posting it a few years back, and it's like, off the back of the big lockdown scams, it's like, seeming even more base than that. Okay, he was one of those big names in Hollywood who could actually back it up, and I think the fact that he never got especially not getting an Oscar for Collateral, that's a travesty. That was a fantastic movie, by the way. It was designed for him to get an Oscar, and the reason that he didn't is completely and totally baffling. And then him also not getting anything for Top Gun Maverick. I mean, what it did for the entire industry, it's like, come on, man. And the year after he does his final Mission Impossible film, the Academy adds a best stunt category. Like, come on, man. Like, everybody's against him because he's just, too much over the target. Anyways, and the data seems to support at least part of his concern, according to Dr. Sarah Boss, a psychiatrist in New York City who worries about overprescribing. Hey man, shout out to her. She's at least in the industry and is trying to clean it up. She told Daily Mail, when we medicate a condition, whether it be ADHD or depression, we put a Band-Aid over a wound. Without the medication, nothing has changed. When it comes to mental health, we need to focus on sustainable, long-term solutions to help people overcome the root cause of their issue. A clip of Cruise's interview has resurfaced on social media, or is being viewed millions and millions of times. In his explosive interview, Cruise said that all antidepressants do is mask the problem. You're not getting to the reason why. That was controversial, huh? Yeah, he's bang on. And he also claimed that there's no such thing as a chemical imbalance. Oh yeah, that's when this clip started to surface, and I'm pretty sure I did a video on this at the time, but they found that there's no such thing as a chemical imbalance, by the way, in the brain. A leading though controversial theorized cause of depression and other mental disorders. He said, if you start talking about chemical imbalance, you have to evaluate and read the research papers on how they came up with these theories of chemical imbalance in the brain. There's no science behind it. The idea that depression is caused by a chemical imbalance in the brain started in the 1950s when the first first psychiatric drugs were developed. Scientists believe that low levels of brain chemicals like serotonin and norepinephrine could cause low mood, and the medication could fix it. But over the past 25 years, many experts have questioned this theory, saying it's far too simple. Most now agree that mental illness is caused by a mix of things, not just brain chemicals, but also genetics, life experiences, stress, and even differences in brain structure. Dr. Boss said, in some cases, a medication can be a fantastic asset to help someone in a severe case get back to their feet or to manage the pain of a detox, for example. But it is not a long-term solution for mental health struggles. We need to have an integrative approach, not a quick fix. 1,000% correct. Back in the 50s and 60s, doctors didn't have brain scans or blood tests to prove the theory. They just noticed that some drugs seemed to lift people's mood. Yeah, it was around the same time. And speaking of mood, you want to know where all of this gender insanity kicked off? Just a little guy called Dr. John Moody. You want to go ahead and just have a really depressing read on the day. Do a little bit of research on him, and hell, I even got a video. I think that one's still up on YouTube, and that one, oh my god, I think going all the way back to 2021. Yeah, go check that out. Just to go ahead and confirm that a lot of these experts out there are far bigger quacks than the guys that get pilloried and written off as Hollywood nut jobs. It's funny what ends up aging better: the raving the raving musings of a Hollywood gnome, or the quack doctors that just wax fantastical with large words and hiding behind a shield of credentialism to prove their point. Very interesting. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.